Why are Americans so easily manipulated? Here we are, a time in our country where the country's upside down. The fucking cops are being thrown in jail for career criminals attacking them. At this point in time, you kind of got to step back and say, what's going on in this country? How come working class, honest Americans just don't have a say anymore? How come it comes down to the people who don't have jobs, don't pay taxes, and are not contributing to this country? How come it comes down to those folks and their voice? Well, because working class people's working 70 hours a week, that's why. So what we have now is mob rule. The Constitution is just being ignored. The rule of law is being ignored. And we're on a slippery slope. I know there's a lot of people out there who think they want anarchy. I don't think that's a good idea. Not for my safety and others like me, because we invest heavily in guns and ammo. It's more for the safety of the people who like to talk a lot of shit, but that can't actually back it up. People like that can get themselves in some deep shit whenever they start actually going after other people in the country. Now, as of right now, they keep all this stuff in the big cities, kind of downtown. They don't go out to the rural areas too much, which is a good thing. They could come to my area one time and they'd never leave. You obviously cannot come to the country and start attacking people. It don't work out in your favor. That being said, working class America has to wake up. We pay the taxes. We do everything to support this country. Our taxes are the only thing that supports the country. Now, people say, well, Jamie, you shouldn't say that. Why shouldn't I? What is wrong with telling the truth? We have this thing called the First Amendment. And the First Amendment tells me I have a right to freedom of speech, no matter who likes it. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, I have the right to say it, just like every other American. The Americans now are so afraid of losing their job that they're basically giving up their right to the First Amendment and their freedom of speech. They're afraid of being looked down on. They are afraid of getting ramifications on social media. Well, guess what? I don't really deal with social media. I give a shit less what anybody thinks about me. You know what I do? I get up, I work 70 hours a week, I pay my taxes, I take care of my family, and I ask the government for shit. That's what I do. So anybody who's got a problem with the way I live, fuck you. I don't care. And if most America had this attitude and realized that we don't have to impress the rest of society, all we have to do is be happy with who we are, then things will probably be a lot better. You can't have a group that doesn't want to go get it for themselves fuss, cry, whine, bitch, and gripe their way into your pocket. The reason true democracies never work is because 51% will take from the other 49%. That's the way it always works out, which is why we are a constitutional republic, not a true democracy. Right now, we have liars on Capitol Hill. We have cowards on Capitol Hill. These people have never worked real jobs. They've been put through Ivy League schools, mostly by their parents, who were in the elite class themselves. They'll tell you, you should not have a negative effect on the earth. They'll say, Green New Deal, and then hop on their private jet, fly across the country. They'll tell you, you don't have a right to your Second Amendment rights. You should not have a gun. Nobody needs a gun. But then they will get their armed security to walk them to their cars. What I'm saying is, these career politicians are fucking hypocrites. And in the end, they are behind every single movement that goes on around here. George Soros funds Antifa. The Democratic Party funds Black Lives Matters. It's all lies, though. Okay? is not a problem with fascists in this country. There's not. Are there fascists? Yeah, I'm sure. Are there racists? Yeah, I'm sure. Is it the problem they're making it out to be? No, it's not. The numbers don't reflect that. And if you actually go and take the time to look up the numbers, you will see that since Obama was president, the crime rate not the crime rate, the rate at which African Americans, men unarmed, were killed dropped by 80%. The actual death rate of white American men dropped as well, not quite by 80%, but it had a pretty good drop. Under Obama, it was 32 and 32, a pretty even split. Under Trump, it was 19 whites, 10 blacks. So the problems that they are saying are there are not really there. What their problem is control. They want to promote the socialist agenda and tell you genocide is happening to keep people in an uprising. They want everybody to believe this stuff's going on, but it's not. Same thing with the coronavirus. You know, I've had people around me get it. All of them said they felt a little tired. They had some symptoms, but all in all, they felt like they had the flu. I have not gotten it, even though I was in direct contact with these people. I guess maybe they didn't cough on me, didn't sneeze on me. We weren't sharing any kind of drinks or anything. Maybe that's why I didn't get it. But the fact of the matter is the more they look at the numbers, the coronavirus is no more deadly than the flu. It's a lot more contagious. But because in the beginning the testing was not there, the only people who were getting tested are the people that had underlying conditions or were in serious condition. So they were the only ones that we would find out had it, so their death rate was very high. But once they started testing the rest of the country and the rest of the people started coming up with antibodies in their system, they started figuring out that the reality of it was that people had it and never knew they had it. So it's not as deadly as they said to begin with, and there's been many medical studies to prove that. So what is it? It's about control. That's basically what it boils down to. Every bit of this is about control. George Soros and his group, the rest of the globalists, the elitists, the rest of the career politicians who are nothing but criminals themselves, they are supporting all these things in this country because they do want to see the chaos. They do want to see the breakdown of the family. They do want to see people out of work and without jobs, all to gain power. The fact that we're allowing it to go on absolutely drives me insane sometimes. But, you know, there's nothing I can actually do about it other than practice my First Amendment right. Try to let everybody know, hey, this is bullshit. Do the research for yourself. I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm not telling you to trust me. Don't. Do what I did. Look up the numbers. Do the research. Don't be manipulated. When you allow people to give you the facts, you allow them to manipulate you. Find the facts for yourself. It's that simple. Find the facts for yourself and you'll know the truth. Now, I can practice my First Amendment right. If the country still was to go in the wrong direction, I can try to cast my vote. That's what I can do. If it ever gets to the point where the government is tyrannical and Americans across this country feel that they are in danger and our way of life is in danger, that's what the Second Amendment's for. It's not for me to go hunting. It's not, well, it is to protect my household as well, but that's not the actual reason our founders of our country had in mind. They had tyranny in mind. And if it crosses that threshold, there are enough people to take it back.